Do not leave me in suspense, I say. Have you found Matario Cozy?
Given your exposition never made it off Mataro Okazu.
I sent good women and men to die in the name of the tribes and in the vague hope. May Ngati thank them for their courage and Wodaka for their loyalty. May they return to us as Rangas.
Using a shaking hand to touch his lower brow.
What of their findings, Watcher? Did they recover anything? Anything about Ukaizo?
I found this ancient Hawana navigational chart. The prince accepts the chart in silence, holding up to the light and poring over every detail of interest. His hands tremble as he holds the paper.
An unusual accounting of the Isles, I say. Each one measured in relation to...
Dress up to the signal of Kazo. Do you have what you need to find your Kazo?
If I did, my sister would hold a parade in your honor. Ngati is one to throw obstacles in our path, but I say that an outdated chart is better than none at all.
Gritting all the while, Rufa rolls up the parchment and tosses you a heavy pitch of coins.
When we know enough, my sister will finance a fleet-wide search. Not for breadcrumbs, but lost Ukaizo.
The bark cloth was a message from the Bohaki to deter any visitors.
For what do they protect Matario Cozy, when its knowledge could help all Hawana? One day I will have words with their Ranga to settle our differences. This is much to learn in a day, even for this warrior. I sent the expedition to their fate, and those who followed. Death is on my conscience this day.
She's never far from mine either.
May all who fell on Matario Cozy slip through the eel's jaws. Hawana and outsider alike. But on to brighter times, I say. If Ukaizo can be found, then so too will the hopes of our people be made manifest.
His grief breaks under the pull of a broad smile.
Too much has happened for you to waste words with the royal brother. From now on, you work with Onikaza as an honored guest of her rooftop garden. Only, be kind to her cats. If there's curiosity to be satisfied, Eora, I will help. Eora, both topics I know well. It is the same in the city as anywhere in the Deadfire. Mataru judge our souls at birth and organize us for the survival of the tribe. I am not the first to say it, but Nekataka has more walls than beaches, more roads than clearings, and more people than fish. Nowhere in the city does a Raparu sit around the same fire as a Mataru. Nekataka tests our traditions, I say.
You speak like the city is aware?
You speak as if it is not. Our ancestors built this place. We are the hermit crab who occupies a fallen shell. It is for my sister and her priest to judge the fit. My sister would say that Ukaizo is the birth canal of the tribes, and we are destined to return and discover ourselves again. Ask Onikaza if you would know more. She is the family historian. I am the family arsenal.
Okay.
Captain, a word?
What's in your mind?
You came to the Deadfire for your own reasons. The problems of others, they must be noisy obstacles by comparison. We both know the burden of being looked to as a source of hope. What say?
It isn't the problem until the gods start making demands. Well, it's not that bothersome, but it both really. There's no problem until the gods start making a demand.
And you wish for a moment of silence to dampen the rabble.
Letting out a sigh and planting his hands on his hips, Tekehu grins with deep satisfaction. He locks his eyes with yours and makes no move to break the contact. Look deeply into his eyes. He nods slightly, then the grin spreading across his features, but makes no other move. Then you look into his eyes. Something in the black pit of a gaze draws you in, and you realise you took an unconscious step closer. Doesn't move. You can smell the ocean in his skin. Okay, so I take it that means he wants to. It looks like he wants something off your chest.
Eora, just so. All the powers of the Deadfire have their eyes on the Watcher of Cadnua. Tell me, is the Watcher watching anyone?
His head's coyly to the side, letting his hair drape down with a moist squish. One at the moment.
To be between lovers is a terrible thing, unless one is physically between them, I say. Captain, I would speak plainly. Are you as excited by the possible? What I mean is, if we were to...
Again, see what I mean? How it forces it into you. That really annoys me, that. He clears his throat and studies you, his eyes wide and quiet. Let's see, I'm intrigued. Oh, yes, yep. You call... I'm flattered, but let's not go any further.
Eora, I forgive this reckless fish for testing the waters. I will bother you no more.
Fine, big man.
What say, Captain?
Yeah, see, they really can't get that right. It really bothers me. Thinking about that. No game seems to get it right. No game seems to get it right. Either make it, oh look, you can romance people in this game. Do you want to romance people in this game? Yes or no? Yes. Who do you want to romance? And it gives you a selection. Simple as that, you know? Simple as that.
You return intact. Nagati is not always kind to those who travel upon her domain.
Kaza touches her brow and nods.
My brother speaks of your journey from Motare Okozi. Mostly, he mourns the loss of his expedition.
Yeah, just that. Looks out on the city and sighs through her nose.
Scholars pore over your findings as if a charcoal rubbing could build a bridge to Ukaizo. I have learned to restrain my optimism. A messenger from the jaws of Tangaloa speaks with the voice of wisdom and change, I say.
Raises her brows at you.
It is fitting that yours should be the voice that tells of Hasongo's fate. What did you see there?
Some Naga occupied the colony after the strained Adra.
The snakes are on edge. Where comes this new boldness?
Thumbs her chin and narrow. Oh, aye, did you?
Far be it for me to complain if they make trouble for outsiders.
Awareness to her thoughts, and she doesn't bother to hide.
What of Aethys? If you know why he terrorizes the Deadfire, speak on.
Yeah, I'm to meet him at the great volcano of Ashimon.
If he fears neither ocean nor magma, I wonder that anything can stop him.
Thumbs her chin and consider.
If Aethys makes for Magrin's teeth, I say the Rathun will grind him to dust for the praise of their warrior matron.
Brow rises with interest.
Even if they fail, it will be an enemy cleared from my plate. This is the gratitude of Nagati, I say.
Rathun?
The fiery children of Magrin, devoted to their mother with a fanatic zeal.
Oh, great.
Bothersome, but the least of my troubles now. From Port Mage to Hasongo to Magrin's teeth, Aethys follows a rich vein of Adra. It takes him northeast to more interesting territory. In the deepest memory of the tribes, we have told stories of Magrin's teeth. Embellished sailors' fables, Eora, but not without some truth. My people speak of treacherous seas, lakes of fire, and the ancient warriors hammered to life on Magrin's anvil.
She props her chin on her fist and looks you up and down.
Ashen Maw is the grandest and most accessible of the peaks. It is the sharpest tooth in Magrin's jaw. Prepare yourself for a fight. If you make preparations in Neketaka, I say we can help each other.
She sits up straighter and guards you with a level expression.
I must keep the city's peace, and I have only so many arms and eyes. While the Deadfire screams, I would see Neketaka outlast the storm to come.
Yeah, what do you need to know?
What I need is a lasting peace that will outlive my dynasty. But I will accept peace of mind for now. What do you know of my Watershapers, Herald of Bareth?
Tekehu, thoughts?
I say we are artists, but when diplomacy fails, we will become something more.
Crosses his arms and smirks at some Kasa.
When, Tekehu? Not if.
Raise their brow. What doesn't press the matter? Yeah, that's true. Eh?
My Watershapers are the levy holding back Rawatai's advance. An adept standing at the prow of a war canoe is enough to send the fleet scrambling for the shallows.
Easy's back, languid and satisfied.
This reminds me. I owe the Hazanui a basket of koiki in remembrance of the Battle of Nakaro Atoll.
Taps her fingers and nods to an attendant who scurries off. Walking the hornet's nest? Yeah. It's like a good gesture, but it's not really. They say nothing.
While the problems of Aethys and overindulgent admirals plague these waters, I have summoned the masters of water shaping to Neketaka. Now would be the time to confer with Guildmaster Myru, but she does not answer my summons.
Looks out to her city. Her hand squeezes down on the armrest. You think something's wrong?
It is too early to grow a forest from this coconut, but I would not dispatch you if I felt at ease. The Guild can suffer no setbacks. If Myru shirks her duties, her queen would know the reason.
She stares off into the distance and sighs, her gaze unfixed.
Nagati, do not abandon us now.
He's back to you and flinches. This was not a thought she intended to share. Whoa. Ho, ho, ho.
Go no further. There is a situation in the guild hall.
The Watershaper glances over his shoulder, his chest rising and falling with deep breath.
What say? Where is Myru?
How creases with concern.
For what did Nagati send you but to lend your strength? All is under control, I say. But the building is closed until Myru cleans up the mess below.
And what about this mess up here?
Ikira, when the dust settles, I will see that our sisters and brothers are honored properly. Naga swam in from the waterways of our sanctum. We pressed back until they fled underground. Then Myru gathered her forces for a stand at Pariki's tomb. I am to guard the staircase while she routs the last of them. Ikira, but Myru is fierce for her years.
He grimaces and another deep rumble shakes the earth under your feet.
Snakes could not have caused that tremor.
Ikira, we felt the quakes even before the serpent showed up.
Why are they attacking the guild?
I do not know. With great purpose, they throw their bodies back to Rikuhu's bowels. I say this is personal. They strike with anger, not conviction.
Why haven't you some help from the queen?
We are water shapers. Onikaza knows we can walk over a few snakes. Myru, though, I say she would not turn down reinforcements.
Yeah, what's causing those tremors?
Not snakes, I say. Unless they brought a battering ram. Ha! I say you will have to run fast. She could cut through Naga like a harpoon through blubber. I will remain and dispatch any snakes who slither past you. Good hunting.
Right. Think I'm back.
Ugh, a curse on old snake.
Injured, eh? The Guildmaster lifts her gaze to meet yours, her eyes struggling to focus. She's been slashed and stabbed numerous times, and her robes are soaked red with blood.
Myru! Oh, gods, look what they've done to you!
Covers his mouth with both hands as he surveys her injuries.
Peace, Tekehu. I gave back 10 times what I took. Too many, even for me.
Oh, is he kidding about past you? I mean, she flutters on a mouthful of blood, but still manages a red-rimmed smile. Sorry to find you, but I think you need a healer first.
No time for that, I say.
Raise you off, grimacing.
You are too stubborn to die, old shark.
Voice weavers as a fresh gout of blood seeps between Moira's fingers.
For once, Tekehu, just listen.
He raises a steady hand to cover his trembling one.
The rod of the deep. Ugh, I've lost it. Taken. You'll need to...
Spluttering up blood. For every word she struggles to voice, her breath gets progressively shallower.
Find the rod. Get through the stone door by the entrance.
I think she wishes us to enter the Watershaper sanctum?
I guess so, yes.
Wards. Failing. Hurry, before it escapes.
Let's see any wards.
Pitied Isengati, Lady of Lament, as the pearl orb of the heavens.
She wheezes as she struggles to get the words out. It doesn't sound like she's even addressing you any longer. Guildmaster's eyes glance over and she falls silent.
Myru?
Takes her by the shoulder and shakes gently at first, then harder. Last she stops. Pulling away and bringing her hands up to clutch his brow.
Ngati. She's dead. Myru told us to seek a rod and a door.
Oh, I know where the door is.
A vague plea, I say, but I would honor her last wish. The words of Pariki's devotion, I say. An old prayer to Ngati. It must have meant something to her. Eora, the others will see to her once we've cleaned up the last of this mess.
Regard Mayor's corpse one last time before turning away. Since there's nobody here, you know.
The wheel, how it tugs at me. Eora, and how bright you look.
Attention snaps towards a distant speck of light, but she shakes it off to remain in the moment.
At least in death, I can complete a thought.
She grimaces down at her swiftly diminishing body.
My rod and the words of Pariki's devotion will open the way to the inner sanctum, past the sealed door.
Closes her eyes and concentrates.
Pitied Isengati, Lady of Lament. As the pearl orb of the heavens crosses her view, her eyes well with tears, as constant as rain. But the moon's skyward journey continues apace, the lover's affection as ephemeral as fingers touching.
Lara opens her eyes again. She nods as her form grows indistinct.
You must strengthen the wards, no matter what it tells you.
Thank you. Rest well. Her mouth moves again, emitting no sound. As she fades from sight, she raises her hands to point towards the entrance of the sanctum. He reaches to touch the Tekehu's cheek, but of course her hand drifts through his skin. He shivers, touched by a passing breeze. Dude.
Need something? Yes, Captain.
Maybe there's 5 things. I'll try 5 this time. The guy first. Then it was the men. And that was back to the moon, and then the hand was last. There we go. Yeah, so the first part was one of the clues as well. Okay. And you hear clattering and whirling as the dial recedes into the door. There's a low rumble as the doorway opens inward, revealing a dark, narrow tunnel beyond. The air beyond the passage is humid, reeking of stagnant water and something else, something old, which raises the hairs on the back of your neck. You take your first step, an ear-splitting roar rises in volume and echoes in the passage, shaking loose the surrounding rock. Well, I can't turn back now. You navigate the dark, narrow tunnel, pressing your shoulders together to fit the passage. This is a dragon. Why? As the massive upheaval of water settles, the air thickens with oppressive humidity. It takes a moment for your eyes to adjust before you can make the sense of a shape that reached from the depths.
This would be a great fishing
You
story.
can say that again, mate.
Holy gone, but it's beautiful. And I'll bet smart as a whip and just as mean.
Sucks in a sharp breath.
Have you come to deliver me from this prison of my own making?
Prison of your own making. The dragon flares his nostrils and glares at you. Let me get my bearings. You?
I am Skirilophus, Guardian of the Isles.
Slaps his tail against the floor.
You ever consider a nickname?
Don't entice it. Seraphithus narrows his eyes at the deer.
Just give it some thought, is all I'm saying.
Yep.
What is this? One of Andra's whelps?
He snouts wrinkles at Tekehu.
Hello.
Steam jets from the dragon's nostrils. I think you're one causing the whole city to shake.
You do not see chains around me, but I am confined all the same. One by one, every link shatters.
The dragon stares at the wards around the prison.
You can only be here for one reason. You serve the Huana.
Ooh.
This prison is built on a foundation of their lies.
Okay, what are you talking about?
You stand in the sanctum of the Watershapers, those who make parlor tricks of Ngati's art. An art in decline. The Huana Covenant has failed.
Covenant?
With each grain of sand surrendered to outsiders, Ngati draws her favor away from her chosen people.
Covenant.
One struck in a different time, when the gods showered devotion on Huana. The guild hides how their acolytes struggle. Their ancestral forms no longer respond as they once did. Soon, there will be no Watershapers to remember them. When their mighty talent went into decline, I gave the Huana the strength to raise the very sea against our enemies. For my generosity, they bound me to this chamber by my soul.
Oh, that was clever, wasn't it?
This cannot be true, I say.
The half-breed's naivete is charming. I see why you suffer his company. And now the Deadfire dies in my absence. The luminous Outtro shrieks in agony, calling out for a guardian.
Read the dragon's soul?
You are a watcher. Of all the kith who could have entered this chamber, how intriguing.
Submerging in the dragon's soul feels at first disorientating, like pursuing the stacks of a vast library. The energy and vibrancy that should colour his soul is grey and worn. From the shadows, a dark formless thing reaches out to you in desperation. Excuse me. The wards around the stone floor drag the essence down and disperse its energy elsewhere to the Watershaper students of Neketaka. Well, as it touches you, the weight of the prison is like an anchor. You withdraw from the sensation, feeling shaky and depleted. You're the reason Watershapers are so powerful.
The Huana of ages past could have shaped the very Deadfire to their liking.
But why didn't they?
Now their backs have turned against Ngati's covenant. Their art is an echo of its former glory.
Raising a shaking hand to his mouth, Tekehu blinks up at the dragon.
By Ngati, he speaks true.
Your disgrace, so pure and concentrated.
I've looked into your soul. It's true.
Believe what you will. My duty to the archipelago is all that matters.
Good.
Freedom comes like the tide, and the Deadfire heeds my call. I sense a rod among your belongings.
Narrows his eyes and watches you carefully.
My gift to Pariki. My covenant with the Huana. Another broken promise.
I just used it to open the door, right?
It made the enchantments of this prison and can destroy them. It can set me free.
The dragon lashes its tail in an eager, repetitive circle.
We have a responsibility, I say.
Trailing off, Tekehu pulls absently at one of his hairs.
But if he speaks truth, the Huana are better served if he remains.
That is true, but still. Slave.
Your opinion is irrelevant, half-breed.
I do want to set him free. I wonder if I can. I'm really concerned about her. I have questions.
I will tolerate your curiosity.
You think of yourself as a guardian?
That is a duty as old as the islands themselves. In ages past, there were 3 guardians. They watched over the Isles, the Adra, and lost to Kaizo.
That is similar to the tenets of Ngati's covenant.
Furrows his brow.
You are perceptive for a fish.
What do you know of Kaizo?
A city where kith spoke to gods. The heart of an empire. I know only what I hear. Ukaizo was gone before my time. Even its myth is dust and ashes.
You spoke of 3 guardians?
Creatures of unparalleled age and power. Bound, like me.
So can I rescue the others?
Huana.
Ooh.
If they still lived, no foreign ship would trespass on these islands.
Something on your mind.
Eora, there is too much running through my head, I say.
This forehead spot.
For another time.
So, okay, so I take it that's his quest will determine what actually happens with him.
The fish is not ready to know what he only now suspects.
Something like a chuckle echoes in your mind.
Ukaizo is lost beyond all memory. Better to forget that monument of hubris.
How'd you get here?
As outsiders threatened the Isles, the power of the Huana waned. Crafty Pariki sought me out to strike a deal. She used my soul as a crutch for her Watershapers. In exchange, she vowed to protect the Outtro.
She's not doing a very good job, by the way.
I came as an honored guest. The Watershapers grew strong, and new conflicts replaced the old. When I resolved to go, my captors left me here, cheated and howling in the dark.
You're bound here by your soul?
Pariki and her crew forged wards that anchor my soul to this chamber. I am not chained here, but I am compelled to remain.
What if we exercise the imprisoned portion of your soul from the rest?
No, my soul is not for the taking. Not by you, or any of the outsider spirit thieves.
It can't be done without harming you, I just need to inspect the wards.
Very well. I give you one chance. Time has weakened the wards enough that I can leave this cell without you. There will be a debt of pain that I have no wish to incur. Betray me and I will summon as many waves of Naga as it takes to shatter this prison.
I believe you. I believe you. So I can't let you go. He blinks down at you and rolls his shoulders as if for the first time.
The burden of this prison is lifted. I will return to the beloved Outtro.
Flexes his claws and lets out an exuberant bellow. Will you consider showing mercy against those who wronged you?
Mercy. Only for those who showed mercy to me. The rest...
He splits his jaws into a lethal grin.
Should your hopes darken on the high seas, you will feel a welcome chill as my shadow passes over your deck. Depend on it.
Roaring with triumph, he aims his body at the rocky ceiling, takes off. He beats his wing, lifting his massive form above the ground of his watery prison. He stretches open his jaws and roars. An ensuing blast barrels out the top of the prison, exposing it to the sky above. For the first time in untold years, natural light floods the interior of the chamber. He snaps his wings a second time, flying through the exit with a wild abandon, tilting his reckless, unpracticed angles as he builds incredible speed. When he emerges, shrieks of horror and dismay grow in volume. Moments later, he passes out of view. You hear an explosion of splintered wood, upheaval water, and incredible devastation on the southwestern corner of the island. Whoops! But I don't care. I think I did the right thing.